I'm joined here with Emma Jones, sports presenter and our Planet Sport ambassador for International Women's Day. So would you mind sharing a bit about yourself, what you do and what your career journey's been so far?
Yeah, so my career journey, it's been about 10 years now. I've been in the industry. I actually started off in radio. I was doing news. I come from a news background, and I'm a trained journalist. I went to university and did a journalism degree, then did a master's in broadcast journalism and got basically as much work experience as I could then. Went to Channel 5 News, different radio stations, and I really enjoyed radio. I loved it. So I started off originally kind of doing news, covering different shifts, the shifts that no one wanted, and then did kind of traffic and travel. Basically, I was one of those really annoying people who just hung around the building and was like, give me a job, let me do something. And that kind of progressed. Within that year, I was then hosting a breakfast show and then moved to another breakfast show. And in and amongst all of that, I started doing a bit of TV work, went over to Leeds United and started working for them, which was like the dream. I was so happy when that happened. And it's just kind of progressed from there. So in 2019, something had to give. I had to give up something because I was working that much. I was really tired. And because of breakfast show hours, I couldn't really sustain that. So I became fully freelance as basically a TV and podcast presenter. And yeah, it's kind of taken me on all sorts of different avenues since then. I work for the BBC on a freelance basis, obviously Planet Sport as well, and Planet Sport Bet. I work at Leeds United. I host the match day shows home and away. And I do all sorts of different things as well in between, all sorts of hosting events and various other things on social media and stuff. And yeah, I'm just very lucky, really.
And what do you think specifically inspired you to pursue a career in sports broadcasting?
It's interesting, because I remember when I was younger, I never even really allowed myself to believe I'd be able to get into it. It just felt as though I saw a few women in sports broadcasting, but not enough for me to believe that it was a genuine avenue that I could pursue. So, when I started doing the radio stuff, I worked in football. I did just different hosting events and stuff, and I really enjoyed it. And so when somebody said to me, there's a job going at Leeds United, I basically just hounded the door down and was like, give me that job, please give me that job, please give me that job. And I just absolutely loved it. I think the feeling with live sport is just unlike nothing else. For those 90 minutes, you are just completely gripped and immersed in this game, and there is a feeling of togetherness, particularly where I sit in the Leeds United studio. I have like the best view. I get to look out and just see all the fans coming together collectively celebrating. Well, we have been celebrating recently. And it's a feeling that you really can't replicate. I think it's such a unique and privileged job to be able to do.
And you mentioned the first role at Leeds United coming up, but do you think there are any other particular moments that have shaped the trajectory of your career so far, or really pushed you forward in the industry?
To be honest, I think that was the big one, because I think that was my first exposure on TV, my first opportunity at doing it, and it was a really good grounding for that. I was thrown straight into it, put straight on air, a brilliant team behind the cameras, and I remember on my first day there, they were like, right, you're going to go pitch side now and interview Eddie Gray, and I was like, what? And I went down, and he was the loveliest gentleman ever and completely put me at ease. And honestly, that first day that I worked, my confidence grew 50% just because I was like, right, I've done it now. I know I can handle this, and I can handle live TV. So genuinely, that was the tipping point for me, I think.
Have you had any mentors or particular role models who have inspired your career or helped you on your journey so far?
So not so much within the industry. I admire everyone in this industry, to be honest. I think it's a great industry to be a part of. But my mum, so my mum actually passed away when I just turned 18. But before that, she'd endured a lot of health struggles. She had MS and breast cancer when I was 12, and she was an extremely courageous and brave woman, and she taught me so much about life in those kind of final 6 years that I carry with me today, and I take such strength from her, because I've always thought to myself, any situation that I am in, if I'm outside of my comfort zone, it pales into insignificance compared to what she went through. And if she could put a brave face on and do it and battle hard for us, I can go into a TV studio and do that, you know. So she, you know, she might not know it, but she inspires me every day. She is the person I think of whenever I do something new. I think of her and go, you can do this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's really nice, like that resilience and stuff as well. And how do you think in general you stay motivated in this industry, like quite demanding, particularly for women? What keeps you like inspired with your work as well?
Do you know what? It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Like, what's not to love? I wake up in the morning and pinch myself that I get to do this for a job. It is a dream for me.
Yeah.
I feel just so lucky. And there have been times in my life where I had a few years where I literally worked every single day and probably didn't see my friends for like a year. And it got to the point where I was like, okay, maybe I should socialise as well. But that comes from a real burning desire to be a part of an industry that I adore. And so the drive and desire comes from the fact that it is a privilege. I do not consider this work. Being here today chatting with you, this isn't work. This is an enjoyable part of life. You get to meet so many different people, go to so many places that, you know, people would dream of going to. Like, I just count my lucky stars, and I really don't see it as work.
And then outside of sports presenting, I guess we were talking about before, a bit of a niche in comedy, notably with the DM helpline sketch and stuff like that. Do you think that's always how you've dealt with like challenges and situations like that, in that kind of like more jokey way? Yeah,
I think, look, when I first started out in the industry, it really affected me. Any trolling or any like unsolicited direct messages that I'd get, it really affected me. But over the last few years, I just don't care, and that's a really liberating feeling. It's very freeing to be able to scroll through social media and think, I just don't care. But I also know that there are other people out there who will care, and nobody deserves to get that. And it's actually a real issue. So the DM helpline is, I guess, my way of highlighting an issue that needs to be exposed. We need to be talking about this, but in a way that is engaging and hopefully where people will sit and listen and laugh, but also take away the point of it, that actually there are a lot of people out here getting these kind of messages, and we don't deserve it.
And how have you seen female representation in the sports industry change, say, like since the start of your career compared to now?
Massively. I mean, it's growing and growing, and it's wonderful to see. And I was asked about this the other day, actually, my experience with other women in the industry, because I think it's quite a unique role, you know, to be a woman in the sports broadcasting industry. We are probably all aware of who the other people are out there, and my experiences with other women in this industry have been lovely, been so warm, and, you know, that's amazing. I am an advocate for lifting other women up and other women doing the same, and I think this industry breeds that women really root for other women, and we are seeing so many more females now in this space, and rightly so. And you can see for yourself. You only have to turn on the TV, and you can see what an impact that's having. And I really hope that is translated on the other side of the screen, that there might be little girls sat at home watching that, knowing I can do that one day, and it's a realistic dream.
No, along a similar vein, I was going to say, have you got any piece of advice for like young girls that want to get into the sports broadcasting industry? Yeah,
you can do it. If you put your mind to it, you can absolutely do it. There is a space for you here. You deserve to be here. You belong here, and you can make that happen for yourself. You truly can. Now more than ever, there are opportunities galore for you to go after it.